If you've been wondering what's going on with your money and your relationships, what could be poisoning your money and your relationships slowly, then this first quarter moon in Libra is the antidote for you. This is what we're going to be talking about today. So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Chantilly Elijah, and this is my channel. This channel is for you. If you're experiencing some type of change or transformation in your life, in your money, in your relationships, in your business, in your career, and you're looking for what your next step could be. All right. And today, what we're talking about is the first quarter moon in Libra on June 21st. And what I'll be going through is doing a little recap on the new moon that was in Taurus. We're going to do a recap on the new moon that was in Gemini, this first quarter moon that's coming up. And then I'll be giving you like a tarot spread that will help you be able to journal and dig a little deeper into what this first quarter moon in Libra means for you individually. All right. So let's go back to the new moon that was in Taurus that was in May 2026. Now, this was a very, very powerful new moon. And what it gave us was the awareness of a lot of things that need to change and help us to see our financial stability in a new way. Uh, Uranus had a strong connection with this past new moon in Taurus. So it was really pushing us to evolutionize and revolutionize our money, the way we saw our ability to get money, just make a lot of changes. Okay. So that is what this new moon in Taurus was about. It had a lot to do with just the awareness of financial stability and how we need to do things in a new way. Now, this new moon in Gemini, this was a continuation of the new moon in Taurus, where it was telling us we need to, now that we're aware of the newness that we need to accept when it comes to our financial stability, now it's time for us to gain the courage to create a path and a plan to move forward into the unknown that we might have never journeyed to when it comes to our financial stability and our financial freedom, because we're moving away from the energy of limitation and lack and not seeing ourselves as people who can really hold the abundance that we're able to hold because of the energy of Neptune and Saturn um, in Aries. So we're moving away from the energy of limitations. We're moving into the unknown in a very bold and courageous way, and following our curiosity and understanding that when we move into this new energy of this new moon in Gemini, that there's going to be some things that could cause us to have to buckle down and overcome a lot of challenges because of the connection that Uranus and the north node of the moon had, that could create some challenges and some obstacles for us. But it's just us getting um, getting comfortable in this new journey, new path that we're going on when it comes to our money. So we are, with the new moon in Gemini, we're gaining the courage to move forward. But when you're moving forward into something that is new, into something that you have never been in the energy of before, that's when you have to make choices. And that's what this first quarter moon in Libra is about. And it's about making the choices that we need to make, choices that we might have never made before when it comes to our money and relationships. And so let's go a little deeper into what the first quarter moon means. The first quarter moon is the moon, if we're going with the four phases of the moon, there's more phases, but we're just talking about the four general phases. If we're going with the four phases of the moon, the first quarter moon is the phase of the moon that's after the new moon, And it's when the moon is gaining light from the sun. And for in astrology, that means that we're getting the energy to take action, make decisions, round up our resources to move forward with the seed that we planted during the new moon. Okay. And for this first quarter moon, it's doubly important to make the choice because Libra is about, uh, sometimes it can represent like the fork in the road. Like, should I go this way? Should I go that way? It's about making choices. And we have to make choices that are for our highest good because Libra is about being fair and balanced, but it's also about justice. Okay. It's about relationships and it's about justice. So we're making choices based on these things. There is, I don't want to skip ahead, but uh, it's possible, and this is what I was getting when I was doing my research on this first quarter moon, that a lot of us, especially the people I'm connecting with specifically for this video, a lot of us have made choices that have been way unbalanced when it comes to what represents our value and who we are. Really unbalanced. So it's time for us to make challenges, make choices that tip the scales and put the uh, uh, put the ball back in our court. Okay, so that's the first quarter moon. Making choices that are for our good, that balance the scales, especially like if you're a person that just overly does things for other people, if you're a person that overly thinks of other people, you have to make choices for yourself with the same energy that you made choices to diminish yourself for other people. So across from this first quarter moon in Libra, we have Saturn in Aries and we have Neptune in Aries. So what Saturn is doing in Aries is helping us to understand that the limitations that we have felt on ourselves, because that's what Aries represents. It represents the self. Okay. So Aries represents the self, Libra represents the others. That's why it represents relationships and business. So Saturn in Aries is debilitated. Okay. So it's acting in a way that it doesn't usually act in other signs. Saturn being debilitated means that it's not giving us as many limitations as it might usually give us. And so we're seeing things in a different way. We're seeing ourselves with the limitations off of us. And it's almost the same thing with Neptune. With Neptune, a lot of the times, Neptune creates illusions and delusions, and it causes us not to see things clearly. But with Neptune now being in Aries, the and remember, Aries represents the self, Neptune represents illusions and delusions. But when Neptune is in Aries, it kind of makes the delusions fall away. So when it comes to how we see ourselves, the delusions that we feel about ourselves, the lies that we told ourselves about who we are and our ability to get what we want when it comes to money and relationships and to keep what we want and to attract what we want when it comes to money and relationships, the delusions that we told ourselves and the delusions and the lies that other people told us about ourselves, they're falling away. So with Neptune and Saturn being in Aries opposite this first quarter moon, the limitations, the delusions, the lies about who we are falling away. And we can make choices that are based on who we actually are and not on lies and control and limitations and all that. So, okay, so that's the good thing about that. But now I want to move to the where I'm talking about in the beginning, where I was talking about venom and poison and the antidote, because I want to talk about the position of where Venus is during this first quarter moon. Venus is in the zodiac sign um, Leo. Okay. Now, when Venus is in Leo, it's definitely our time to shine. But we need to understand some things first. Venus is at 9 degrees. Oh, I forgot to tell you why Venus is important. Venus is important with this first quarter moon because Venus is the planet that rules the zodiac sign Libra, where the first quarter moon is. So, uh, with Venus being the ruler of Libra, it's really important that we look at where it is. It's 11 houses away from the first quarter moon. And the 11th house represents money, how it represents what we earn, how we earn. And it also represents our acquaintances, our networks, the groups of people that we're connected to. Okay. So again, that's money and relationships. Okay. Venus represents money and relationships. Now, Venus is at 9 degrees of Leo. Whew. And I don't know what happened just now. Venus is at 9 degrees of Leo. And at 10 degrees of Leo is the fixed star called Gaiansar. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. But that is a fixed star that represents the venom, and it also represents the antidote. It represents the poison and also the antidote. So, what's the main thing? Money and relationships. So, we're looking at what is the venom? And we have to be really honest with ourselves because that's what Saturn is asking us to do. Saturn is all about reality and being realistic. Okay. And being realistic really helps us to make choices, especially since the delusions and the lies of Neptune are falling away. It's really important that we're realistic about how have we're not talking about anybody else, anyone else's choices that affected you. We're looking at the choices that you made, you yourself made, so being accountable when it comes to money and when it comes to relationships. What are the choices that you made that could have poisoned your money and relationships? Because something else that this fixed star Gaiansar represents is uh, facing the truth that you might be not trying to look at. Okay. So we're being realistic, we're being honest. And because we're doing things in a new way, it's really important that we face the challenges or we face the truth that we might have been trying to run from when it comes to money and relationships. That's the only way we can change and walk in this new journey, this new path of financial stability and freedom. That's the only way. So, what are the choices that you could have made in the past that could have negatively affected the way that you made your choices? And I don't want to be making this too much for you, but right now, during the first quarter moon, the sun is in the zodiac sign Cancer at 0 degrees. The first quarter moon is also at 0 degrees, but the sun is at 0 degrees of Cancer. And the sun there is illuminating our emotions. The moon is illuminating our choices. And so we're looking at how our emotions have affected our choices. Sometimes, if you're in your emotions and your emotions aren't coming from a place that is positive or even realistic, because sometimes our emotions aren't coming from a place that's realistic, especially about who we are. Okay. If those emotions aren't positive about how we feel about ourselves and we make choices based on those emotions, then it could cause us to make choices that are not for our highest good. Like I was talking about in the beginning, like making choices that don't honor you, but help other people, help the other, help your people you're in relationships with. This is any type of relationship, not just romantic relationships. So we're thinking about, how have I been making choices based on emotions that don't honor me, based on the uh, things that make me feel like I'm not worthy of things being balanced and fair and just for me. We want to move away from making choices based from that part of ourselves. We want to start making choices, like I said, in a new way, in a ways that we've never made before, with the same energy and veracity that we made them to diminish ourselves and to limit ourselves and bring ourselves down. We have to make them for ourselves. Let me get back focused. So we want to make these. We want to. I'm gonna go into the tarot spread, because it's gonna help you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so based on the seeds that you've been planting for yourself, based on this new moon in Gemini, where a lot of us might have felt that we need to make new choices and do things in a new and different way. I want us to think about the choices that we have to make to move in a new direction, especially when it comes to our money and our financial freedom and our relationships. What are the choices that you need to make? You can reflect on that. You can use your tarot cards. Okay. Now, I want you to ask this other question. How would the old me that did not honor myself have made that choice? Because we need to be clear on how the old you would have made the choice, so we do not make choices in that way. How would the old me might have made this choice? Okay. Now we're asking for the third card. We're asking, how would the new version of me make this choice? The new version of me that is realistic about who I am, the new version of me that honors myself, the new version of me that is confident, the new version of me that's positive, that believes that I can have what I want, that I'm worthy of making choices for my highest good. How would that version of me make these choices that honors the new version of myself? Okay. Um, it's really important that well, I'm gonna go back. I want us to also ask, so let's make this the third question. Um, I want us to ask, what is the truth that I am resisting about myself, about my past choices? What is the truth that I'm resisting about my past choices? Because we have to be honest with ourselves. If we're not honest and accountable with the past choices that we made, then we will continue to make those choices. And we will continue to get the results that we've been getting that do not honor ourselves. So Question 4. I know I'm moving things around. No, I'm moving things around. Uh, I want us to ask ourselves, uh, pull a card for this. What, um, based on the choices that I made in the past, what is the outcome? What has been the outcome? And I think that that question will help you get clear on why you cannot keep making choices based on your old self. If you're clear on the outcome that you're getting by making those choices from that state of mind, from that emotional state. Okay, so I'm going to go back through it because I know I jumbled them up a little bit. Number 1, what are the new choices that I need to make for myself, especially when it comes to money and relationships? Number 2, how would the old me make those choices? We're moving away from that. How, what is the truth about me, about why I made those choices that I need to be honest with myself about, that I could be resisting? Number 4, what was the outcome of the choices that I made based on the old me? And number 4 is, how would the new me, who is confident, who is positive, who knows that she is worthy, or he is worthy of making choices that are for my highest good, how would the new me make these choices? Okay. And that is what I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And if you are interested in a reading, so you can go deeper into what any of the phases of the moon mean for you: new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, last quarter moon. Um, if you're interested in understanding what your next steps could be or need to be when it comes to your relationships, business, career, or just in general, look in the description box for the link for a reading so we can go ahead and help you get some clarity on what your next steps could be. All right. And I will talk to you next time when we're talking about the full moon in Capricorn.